on y'all. And let's talk about Kanye. We're gonna go from one disgraced celebrity to another because John Legend is psychoanalyzing, even though he said he's not. But it pretty much sounds like you getting your Sigmund Freud on. And now he's reflecting on his friendship or past friendship, because they're no longer friends, because Kanye had a whole lot to say about him. And he's basically weighing in on his ever-changing controversial opinions. So the Grammy-winning artist opened up about the troubling transformation of longtime collaborator and friend Kanye West in a candid interview with the London Times published on Saturday, which was May 10th. Now, Legend, who rose to prominence alongside West during the early 2000s, reflected on the stark contrast between the man he first met and the one who now frequently makes headlines for his controversial and inflammatory views, saying, quote, Kanye was, well, he says Kanye, I say Kanye. He said Kanye was very passionate, very gifted, and he had big dreams. You want dreams, you want fame, because fame costs. And right here, we start doing shit in pain and sweat. That's not what Debbie Allen said, but I got to remix it. But anyway, he said he was very passionate, very gifted. He had big dreams, not only for himself, but also for all the people around him. He had so much optimism, so much creativity. It does feel sad, sometimes shocking to see where he is now. Now, Legend recalled the breakthrough moment when West's debut album, The College Dropout, changed everything for the circle, saying that he said then The College Dropout sold 400,000 copies in its first week. And that's literally $100,000 copies short of going gold. Because I don't know if the numbers have changed, or maybe they still do. Nobody's doing gold. Well, actually, people are doing gold. It takes years for some people to go gold. But 500,000 was always considered going gold when you were moving physical copies back in the day. A million would be platinum. And then, of course, if you do 10 million copies, that's diamond, which very few artists have done diamond. Shout out to Pink, because Misunderstood went diamond. And so there's very few people that went diamond. But anyway, so he said, then the College Dropout sold 400,000 copies in the first week, everyone wanted to know what was happening in our camp. And all those people who turned me down suddenly decided that my music sounded a lot better than it did the first time around. And that's because when things are successful, one of the things about the industry as a whole, they run on fear. A lot of these people that work behind the scenes wouldn't know a hit if it slapped them upside the head. So they're afraid of taking chances, even though, artists are going to be artists. Artists are always going to be like, this is the vibe. This is where I'm going. This is where music is creatively. This is where I'm going creatively. And people don't really see the writing on the wall until the people respond. And then when they see the people respond and their success, and that, wait, you mean we slept on this the whole time? Let's jump on and capitalize while we can. So that's what they all are. They're all about jumping on something. People always want to play it safe, but you have to realize when you're in this industry, be it the music industry, film, whatever, art is a gamble. There's no guarantees in any of this stuff. So sometimes you just got to go off your gut. And Kanye was on the right track when it came to that whole vibe and sound. I always call that the dirty backpack sound, where it was like you had Kanye and you had John Legend, you had The Roots, you had Erykah Badu, and you had, Music Soul Child, and of course my girl Angie Stone, may she rest in peace, D'Angelo, Jill Scott, that whole vibe. And Kanye's music kind of fit within that same thing. But then, over the years, he started kind of playing with different genres of sounds, which I appreciated that he did when he, channeled Daft Punk, and then he worked with Gustavo Stein long before Lady Gaga worked with him. Like, he was just working with all these different producers, Daft Punk, and I think I said Daft Punk, right? But when he started working with these other people, and I feel like he worked with Daft Punk before Pharrell, I believe, worked with them, because it's two of them. So I appreciate that Kanye was someone who had a good ear for production and things of that nature, and knew kind of like he liked to play around with different vibes. But then he started to go left. And John talks about a lot of that. So he basically said he never saw, because I always wonder, I'm like, in that camp, was he ever aware of Kanye with the anti-Semitism and all that other stuff? And he said I didn't see a hint of what we're seeing now. His obsessions with anti-Semitism, anti-blackness, and it is sad to see his devolution. And so he also stopped short of offering clinical diagnosis, but suggested that his pivotal life spent or life event may have sparked why he is the way he is. And said, quote, I don't think we're qualified to psychoanalyze him. But after his mother passed in 2007, there was definitely a difference. His descent started then and seems to have accelerated recently. So the emotional weight of Donna's passing, combined with the pressures of fame, may have played a prominent role in shaping his current reality. And here's the thing. Kanye, I guess, in general, is a complex figure, as we have seen over the years, or we have witnessed. But you will also be hard pressed that there will be some people that will believe that, well, why is it that y'all are putting all that? Because, a lot of people have pretty much come to that speculation about, oh, it's ever since his mother passed away, Kanye ain't been the same. And I'm sure there's some truth to that. But some people would actually go and say, and I've heard them say this, why is it that it's up to, or put the pressures put on the shoulders of a black woman to be able to hold a man down, to hold her son down, to hold him together with super glue and bubble gum and a little duct tape? Why is it that it's put on Donda's back that Kanye is the way he is? I'm sure that probably has something to do with it, because he probably never dealt with the fact that his mother passed away after complications of plastic surgery. But I also think that the pressures of fame may have gotten to him too, because you notice that when he does certain things, and I feel like it all started around the time George Bush don't care about black people, which was a good thing for him to say that. But I think when he basks in the drama, the over dramatization of like controversy. I think he gets off on that. So getting up on the stage of the VMAs and interrupting, why he's blaming it on the alcohol, sitting with that old bald headed cubicle, or cute bald headed Q-tip, I should say, not cubicle. That bald headed Q-tip looking bitch known as Amber Rose. When he got up there and interrupted Taylor Swift and talking about Beyonce is the greatest artist of all time, or had the greatest music video, talking about single ladies, and how nobody knew who Taylor Swift was. So thank you for actually boosting Taylor's career, because we didn't know who the hell she was until you did what you did. Her career was kind of on the up and up, and she won the award, which was controversial at the time, because people was like, huh? We don't, who this little girl? And Beyonce supposed to be getting the VMA, and Kanye felt the need to get up there and interrupt. And so over the years, he kept doing the same thing and causing a commotion. And I think he got off on it. So like when the music ain't doing what needs to be done, you have to constantly do crazy things. Marrying a Kardashian, that's controversial. Having children with a Kardashian, that's controversial, based off of the history of them girls and what Kim was all about, and how she was getting her high profile situations, and being whored out to all these different black men, which black men be thinking that these girls that look like a Kardashian or a white woman is a prize. But I gag, because there was a video that I saw where a white girl was sitting with her black boyfriend, and black men were sitting there talking about how, yeah, when they get with these white girls or whatever, it seemed like it's a step up and stuff. And I do believe in their mind, they think, yeah, because being white is the pinnacle, is the peak. It is, the ultimate prize. But the white girls was like, I hate to burst y'all bubble, but when white girls get with black men, y'all are not seen as the prize. And I know that could sting and that could be hurtful, but the reality is, like, yeah, a white girl who is actually in love with her black man, boyfriend, whatever the case, who now is her husband or just a long-term relationship, or her baby daddy, whatever. A lot of these white men, as in their fathers, don't want to see they daughter with no black man. Now I'm sure there's some out there that are very progressive and don't have an issue with interracial relationships. However, for the most part, when it comes down to the white folks, they want you to stick with your own, because they said there's a sense of social status depending on the white man you get with, or it's not going to be much of an issue. But for the most part, it's funny how the sides contrast. So it kind of made me wonder in a lot of ways when it comes to the Kardashians. Like, yeah, I don't think Kris would have wanted her daughters getting with some average black man, not some black dude that is a manager of a Kroger's, or a Walmart, Oh, I guarantee you a Kardashian get one of them. Now, if they're an athlete or a rapper or a mogul, because there's status there, there's money there, there's clout there, there's attention there. Oh, you best believe that Chris ain't gonna have no problem with that. But an average black dude that worked down at the CBS, oh hell no, they're not gonna put up with that. Guaranteed. So I don't think I have anywhere else to go with this story. But I do feel like, you know what? Um, he was onto something in regards to this. So shout out to you, John Legend. It's sad that you know what, that we're seeing Kanye crash out in real time. And that's, I wish he would get the help that he needs, but I don't think he's interested. I just think he likes, with all this controversial, I think he likes channeling, being the hip hop equivalent to Uncle Ruckus. I think he gets off on all of that. He thinks it gives him attention. I don't know the who, but and I still don't understand people within the black community who still gives excuses to him with this. Like, he's literally throwing y'all under the bus, saying y'all ain't ish. He don't care about y'all. Like, we go from George Bush don't care about black people to literally wearing Klansman robes and a hood and basically saying slavery is a choice. Y'all don't have no problem with that. But I do find it funny that there are some black people that have decided to cancel Kanye for insinuating that he might be a homosexual, which a friend of mine actually said, I would not be surprised if that's the next thing he tried to come out with, say he gay. And then the thing about the cousin, who he allegedly, well, he admitted this in a damn song, that he did sexual things with, which is our next topic I'm about to get to right after this one. So it's funny how I did that segue, but yeah, I'm gonna cut this down and I'm gonna put that as a segue because I don't want to make this like a 30-minute video. So, or based on this topic. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to John Legend, basically saying that he feels like that Kanye's downward spiral began after, his mother passed away. And saying that it's sad to see like where he is mentally. And I do wonder if there are people out there who genuinely have been trying to reach out. And so that would have been another question I would have asked. If I didn't read the interview, I'm just going by what the clips that the clip notes that I got based off the article. But I do wonder if there are people, or if John or many others, if he's aware of people who have actually tried to reach out to Kanye to try to get him the help that he needs. But like I always say, you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink said water. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.